Well, after a nice day of Super Bowl trailers, we got a Super Bowl surprise, the Cloverfield Paradox, just all of a sudden on Netflix. So, just watched it. Let's dive into it. If you watched the Cloverfield Paradox, what did you think? Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler-free review for the Cloverfield Paradox. The Cloverfield franchise is a paradox for me because I did not like the first one, and I just gotta be honest, I have a bias here. I do not like found footage films, and that was like a major strike for me when watching the first Cloverfield, and I think I've only really seen it the one time, like however many years ago it came out. I remember my wife and I were on a date, we saw it on the big screen, and it's like, I can't say it was the worst movie I ever saw, but it wasn't something that I really enjoyed. The found footage stuff absolutely drove me nuts, and then the ending was just like, oh, whatever. And so, like, I just wasn't, like, the biggest fan of that. And then out comes 10 Cloverfield Lane, which freaking blew me out of the water, and I thought was one of the most absolutely amazingly awesome movies. And now, all of a sudden, on Netflix, continuing with the weird ways that they continue this Cloverfield franchise, umbrella, sequels, whatever it is they want to call it, we suddenly get the Cloverfield Paradox, and now I'm faced with another Cloverfield movie that I really enjoyed. So, like, I got off on the wrong foot with this franchise, but now I'm on the right foot, man. I'm really enjoying this, and I hope we get another one, because where are they gonna go from here? Hitting some of the positives of this movie, just an initial reaction here. I can't tell you a lot, because part of the fun of this movie was the fact that, number one, it was a surprise that it dropped on Netflix. Number two, going into this with no marketing and not knowing really what was going to happen in this and what it was all about. So, like, that was a huge chunk of the fun of this. And that's what helped make a lot of it unpredictable. I mean, there were some predictable things, but, like, not super predictable. But what really made it fun was just the fact of, what is this? Who are these characters? What is going on here? And so not having tons of trailers, not having tons of marketing, a surprise that it's dropping on Netflix, coming into it cold, that is one of my biggest overwhelming positives of this movie, because it added to the experience tremendously. So getting beyond that, you have the Cloverfield Paradox, and this is just kind of a general thing. This isn't any plot spoilers. So as a general thing, the Earth is having an energy crisis, so they're trying to test a particle accelerator in space on a space station. And in testing this particle accelerator, you can bet this is where things go wrong, and we're dealing with a particle accelerator. We know from The Flash, weird things happen when you start to deal with a particle accelerator. So that's what happens with this movie. Weird things begin to happen. And unfortunately, like I said earlier, the fact that the biggest appeal of this movie is going in so cold, I'm just not going to hit anymore. I'm going to hit this, though. They had some really great characters, and I think as a cast, they had great chemistry, and they worked really well together. I mean, you had some of your funny characters, you had some of your serious characters, you had this incredibly serious situation happen, and then there was a lot of intensity. Like, I thought they did a good job building the intensity in the scenes. It was just fantastic sci-fi, holy cow, what is going on here violence. And it just kept me guessing for a while, and I thought that was so good. It was so smart. I don't know what else to say, because I can't spoil this. So anyway, there it is. Go into this cold, and I think you're going to have even more fun with it. It was an incredibly intense movie. I enjoyed the intensity. It had really good characters, a good cast that I think had a great chemistry together, and it was just such a good mix of the characters that it made them fun to watch. It got you invested in who they were, and you really did care what was going to happen. So the exact opposite of that movie Life, where I was like, okay, I'm done with this movie. This, I really cared about what was going on with these characters. If I had to hit some of the negatives here, there are some predictable moments. Once you really get into it and you kind of get past the, oh my gosh, what a surprise all of this is, you know, and you kind of get into the formula, you're starting to pick up, okay, I think this character's going to die, that character's going to die, maybe this will happen. And so there's a certain part of the formula where you can pick it up and maybe start predicting who's going to die. And so there were a couple predictable things like that, but moving past that, though, I think I just have to give this movie an A-. I have to give this movie an A- just because of how surprised I was. Seriously, I just finished watching it, so if you saw me mumble and fumble a lot, it's because I just finished watching it, combed my hair so it looks okay in front of the camera, and then hit record. So you're getting more of a reaction than a review, and you're even seeing me right now try to put some things together in my head as I'm actually still digesting the movie. Here's what I'll say, though. It's a fantastic film. I'm actually kind of glad it was straight to Netflix instead of on the big screen. I think that makes it a better movie. I mean, I think I still would have enjoyed it on the big screen, but it was very nice that it was straight to Netflix. I definitely think this film is worth your time, especially if you like sci-fi with that touch of horror, real intense things going on, great characters. I mean, if that's something that you really like and you like that genre, if you liked 10 Cloverfield Lane, I really think this is a movie you're going to get into. If you like the first Cloverfield, then you're definitely going to get into this. If you hated the first Cloverfield like me, you just really were not into it, hey, I'm telling you, A-, I really enjoyed this movie. So even if you didn't like that first Cloverfield, I think you'll like this one. All right, so all of that said, what are your thoughts? If you saw this movie, let's talk about it in the comments below. This is spoiler free, so keep the comments spoiler free, but I'm super excited to dig into the details of... I'm saying keep it spoiler free, and I'm excited to dig into the details. Can you tell there's still stuff running around in my head with this film? I'm looking forward to talking to you about this movie and seeing what you thought. So let me know in the comments, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian, and hit the bell next to the subscribe button. That way you're notified for the next movie review I drop, the next ranking video, the next theological analysis I do, the next trailer reaction, all that good stuff. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.